So I've talked about walking with lions before, and some of the rules that our guide Alistair gave us in order to stay safe. The first one, walk together, because the outlier is the one that's going to get taken if anything bad happens. Number two, crouch down. Don't look like a human being, because the lions have learned to fear those things, to fear the humans, because those are the ones that shoot them. So don't look like the thing that they're afraid of, and that way you're going to be able to approach. The third is it's not the lion that you see, it's the lions you don't see, because they travel in prides, in groups. The fourth one is know your context. Know which direction the wind is blowing, know which way the sun is shining, because if you're aware of your context, you're going to put yourself in a position to enjoy the experience that much more. And the last one is when a lion charges you, don't run. As crazy as that sounds, that's the best thing to do when a lion charges you. Well, I was thinking about the rule about not looking like a human. Don't look like the thing that the animal's afraid of. And it reminded me of my young son, who really desperately wants to love our cats. Our cats have learned that a toddler isn't the most cuddly thing to be with a lot of the times. Early on, they didn't have good experiences with him grabbing their tail and pulling their skin and things like that. So they've learned to be afraid of the toddler, but he hasn't learned to approach them differently. He sees them come into the room, and he stands upright, he screams a little bit, and he chases after them, and sure enough, the cats run away. They've learned to fear the presence of a toddler, and now he needs to grow out of that and learn to approach them differently. Well, leaders do the same thing. In many ways, the people have learned to fear, or at least be cautious, of leaders who practice positional power. And when we approach people who've learned to be cautious of their bosses and their leaders because of bad experiences, or even more common, stories of bad experiences, we find ourselves creating distance by trying to use positional power to influence people or coerce people into getting things done. Take a step back, take a deep breath, and realize that we may need to approach people different. If we know how they've been coerced, or how they've been intimidated, or bad experience they've had in the past, then we can modify our approach so that we can get closer, so that we can influence and we can inspire rather than coerce. So just like with the lions, don't look like the thing that they've learned to fear. Leaders, don't approach your people in the way that they've learned to be cautious. Find ways to approach them in ways that they can hear you and see you as somebody who has their best outcome in mind.